Hi guys, welcome to this video on Project Lincoln Diesel. If you don't know what that is, you haven't seen our previous video where we explain what we're doing, so you can check that out on the playlist. Before we get stuck into this video, you can hit the like and the share and do all the YouTube stuff that the algorithm loves. So in this video, we are going to be getting the engine and gearbox out of the Lincoln and getting started on taking out the bits basically that we don't need for the project to make way for that new diesel engine. All right, so big day today. We've got the Lincoln in the workshop, as you can see, and you can cut to that clip here. It wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was going to be, obviously with the snow, rear wheel drive. We've got that steep ramp up into the workshop, but it wasn't too bad, so we've got it in. Today's a big day. We're going to get the engine out, pull the engine, pull the gearbox, and start making some headway. All right, so fitting this BMW engine into this engine bay might look quite simple and easy because it's a huge car and you assume that it might be a really easy job, and it probably isn't going to be terrible. So getting the engine out is going to be a bit tricky. We've got the ramp, but this thing's huge and it's only a 2-poster ramp. We've never had anything quite as big as this on the ramp, so a little bit nervous about getting it on there. It's a heavy car. It's very long, which is a lot of leverage on the ramps, so I'm not overly sure about working underneath it on these ramps. So what we're going to do is we'll get it up to like half height, stick some axle stands under it, do what we need to, which is minimal, unbolting the transmission mounts and stuff like that, I think, but largely try and work from above until we've got the engine and box out, and then it'll be a bit lighter, a bit more secure on the ramps, and then we can start working underneath properly. All right, so on now with getting the ancillaries and bits and bobs out the way so that we can start pulling this engine. So we're starting here with the rad and all just the general pipe work and all the cables and whatnot. So once we've got a bit of space, we can get around it. We're going to take the engine out separately to the gearbox rather than trying to take it out all in one go. So we can get to the bellows and bolts and everything now once we've got it up in the air. Just going to drop these axle stands in just for a bit of security while we're underneath it. Right, so she's loose. We've got the fork truck on it now. We're going to try and get it out nice and carefully without damaging anything. It's a really big engine and the engine bay itself was quite snug, so just want to do it dead steady and take it carefully. Alright, she's out, clear. We'll just drop it on a pallet, stick it in the back, and then I'm not sure what we're going to do with it. The engine itself was perfectly fine, so it might be that we just get it soldered and out of the way. So check out these are the original engine mounts. So that's one half, chassis half, and yeah, wasn't really attached to anything. Taking the Lincoln gearbox out. So we're just getting the gearbox out now. Pretty straightforward on this. It's just got a cross member and then the prop shaft really. And these are the mounts on the gearbox. So this is the gearbox mount both sides, and yeah, that wasn't attached brilliantly either. So pretty much all that was holding the engine and gearbox in were ancillaries, pipes, and the prop shaft. Cool, box is out. We'll stick this on the pallet as well. Last bit is getting this prop shaft out of the way, which you can see is huge. The car's like 3 miles long, so it's not a little thing. Just checking out the underside of the car. Just like that, engine and gearbox is out. And today we're going to start making a bit of progress on getting the engine bay cleaned out and then go from there. Alright, so we're just stripping down any odd bits that are still in the engine bay and then just moving the cables and wires and stuff off the engine bay side so that we can clean them down. Ethan's in there just giving it a wire brush and then vacuuming out any crud and muck. So the engine bay is in part cleaned, as you can see. There's still quite a bit more to do. Ethan's been working on that, and eventually we'll get it immaculate so that it's at the point where we can get some buzz weld on it and get it protected. But it's in amazingly good condition. Well, the whole car is, to be honest with you. Underneath is in really, really good condition. It's a Texas car, so it's obviously been in good weather, which is great. But yeah, it's in really, really good condition. Like if you look around all the detail parts in the corners, the places that normally would rust, definitely normal for UK cars to rust. It's really, really in solid condition, so I'm impressed. And so while that's happening, I was just taking a look at doing a little bit of body work here under the rear windscreen. There was a little bit of rust, so we just cut it out and put some fresh plates in. Lincoln. Alright, so now we're on with cleaning the underside of the car. It is, as I've said, in great condition, but there's a load of muck and crud and stuff underneath here, so we're just scraping everything off. Then we're going to wire brush it and get it back to this sort of red primer colour that it's got so that we can get some buzz weld on it. So I just got the Lincoln all cleaned up. Ethan's been under here wire brushing everything. So I just wanted to show you just like how good condition it is. It's crazy what it looks like underneath. It's, for the age of the car, it's so good. So check this out. So starting at the back here. This is like the rear quarter. It's like new. Really interesting fact that I didn't realise. So this is a unibody structure. There's no actual chassis per se, but it does kind of have this chassis structure of a sense. But if you look sort of just by the shock there, you can see it's silver, and it's because part of the unibody structure that you can see there is galvanised, which is not something I've seen before. I've never seen a manufacturer of classic vehicles, you know, bearing in mind this is a 1969 car, so all the silver that you can see is galvanised steel. Which must be done from factory, which I think is crazy, really. I think that's really interesting, but you can see the general condition of it, all wire brushed up now, got off years and years of crud and really bad sort of factory underseal type stuff, but it's in remarkably good condition. I would say 99% of the steel is in like really fabulous condition. So we're just gonna panel wipe all this, bit of thinners, and then get to buzz welding it, so it'll get a bunch of coats of buzz weld, including the axles and stuff as well. The only bits that we've got to address are the floor wells. So this is driver's side floor well, and you can see there's a bit of rust where it's just come through. Not a crazy amount, if you look. It's mostly just pinholes, or large pinholes, where it started to come through, and we've been poking at it and wire brushing it from both sides. This side's a bit worse, but not terrible really, so it's not rotted out. There's a good hole there where I've pushed it through. But it's not terrible. It's easily fixed. We're just going to cut that out, weld in some fresh steel, and we're good to go again. But it's in a nice area, you know, it's flat steel, so we're not going to make any special shapes. We're not trying to go around the transmission tunnel or any intricate shapes and stuff, so that'll be a really easy fix. All in the engine bay from the underside. This will all get painted. Axles will get painted, suspension at the front will get painted, fuel tank here will get painted. It's just in insanely good condition. I honestly don't know how, well I do know it's been in a dry state all its life. But yeah, so there she is. So there you go guys, we have the engine out of the Lincoln and the gearbox out of the Lincoln now, so we've got lots of space to work with, on with cleaning and prepping the car itself, the shell itself, so we can take a look at getting the new engine in. Don't forget, like I did, to make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the like button on all the YouTube stuff so we get seen more and stuff.